guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is part 2, basically the follow-up to my morning routine video, which is my evening routine. So what is my evening routine? So if you guys remember from my morning routine, I have kind of a few things that I like to do in the morning, and that holds true for the evening as well. So typically what I do is, because I get up kind of early in the morning, so between 5:30 and 6, I like to start my evening routine at 8:30. So this is the ideal. Typically, I do actually kind of hold to that 8:30 time marker, but not always. So typically what that means is at 8:30, I kind of stop whatever I'm doing. So a lot of times that means if I'm working on sewing, I stop sewing. If I'm watching TV, that's when I stop watching TV. So 8:30 is kind of my cutoff point. And from 8:30 to 9:30, so 9:30 is kind of when I'd like to be in bed at the latest. Ideally, I'd like to be in bed and ready to read at like 9:15, but we'll call it 8:30 to 9:30 is the time that I allot for my evening routine. So there are a couple of things that I do and that I try to do every evening. So the first thing is I like to make sure my sink is clean. I do all of my dishes in the evening, and this is typically the first thing. If I'm sick, this is the first thing I stop doing, and I'll do them in the morning. But ideally, I want to do all of my dishes in the evening, so when I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is put away clean dishes and my sink is clean and ready to go. The second thing that I like to do is I do my sunlines a day. So here we go. I have my sunlines a day in here, and so what I do is in the evening, that is when I would come and grab my book and fill out my sunlines a day. And this way I just sort of differentiate my morning journaling time and my evening sunlines a day time. Now again, sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'm usually pretty good about doing my sunlines a day in the evening. So the next thing that I would do is I would actually get ready for bed. So this is a little bit variable as to whether I actually do this during this like 8:30 to 9:30 time or not. But one of the big things is obviously going to be skincare. So what I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing is let's put it this way. The ideal is whenever I get home from work, if I don't need to go out for something else, then I would just immediately do my skincare. So typically when I come home from work, whatever time that is, I will come in, I will, change out of my work clothes and put on my lounge clothes. And typically that's when I would take the time to do my skincare routine to make sure I just get it done straight off the bat. I also, from being outside and all of that, sometimes my eyes get a little bit itchy. So I like to just take off all of my makeup and kind of have that ready to go. So let's pretend I had already gotten my skincare routine done. We still have to talk about it. So my evening skincare routine is a little bit more involved than my morning skincare routine. So see if I can get this. So you guys will remember this lovely bin from my morning routine video. I use more of this stuff for my evening routine. So, oh my gosh, let's see. Actually, I'm gonna put this on my lap because it's too far away on the table. So when I do my evening routine, the first thing I do is I take off my makeup and skin cleansing stuff. So I like to do a 2-step skin cleansing system, if you will. And the first step is oil-based. So I actually, because I went to Korea a couple months ago, I have actually a lot of products. So the one that I've gotten and I've been using for the longest is this deep cleansing oil from DHC. I think it's a Japanese company, and I can actually find this here in France, and it's an olive oil based cleanser. So this is the one that I've been using for the longest. This is actually my second bottle. So I really like it. The one I've been testing out because I got it in Korea is this one, which is Real Art Moisture Cleansing Oil from Etude House. And more recently, oh gosh, there's oil everywhere, shockingly. So more recently, I got this one. It is a Japanese brand. It's Kaolian, I have no idea, but this is a stick. It's a pore and makeup cleansing stick, and basically this one is supposed to be like a 3-in-1 kind of deal, but it's just like a balm that you rub on. So it's another Korean brand, but I actually got it from a Sephora here in France. So I typically pick one of those 3 to do my first step, and that is when I take off my makeup. So I don't actually use makeup remover pads. I just like mush around the oil and all of that kind of stuff, get everything off, rinse it off, and then the second step is going to be the cream cleanser. So I currently have 2 that I'm using. These are both from Etude House from Korea. So one of them is a baking powder pore cleansing foam, and the second one is a Cica Balance 5.5 foam cleanser. So one is basically like a sensitive, like skin sort of deal, and then one of them is a more deep cleaning for the pores. So I alternate between using those just kind of as I feel like it. So that is steps 1 and 2. Now in the evening, sometimes I will do other steps. To be perfectly honest, I try to do some combination of these at least once a week. But so actually let's go through my most basic evening skincare. So step 1, oil cleanser. I have 3 choices. Step 2, foam cleanser, 2 choices. Next step is I'm going to use my little toner pads. And a lot of times I will just do the same exact thing I did in the morning, where I've got my first step of toner, my second step of essence, and then I will do, a lot of times in the evening, I will also do eye cream. Don't ask me why I don't do it morning and evening. I don't know. So sometimes I'll do eye cream, and then typically what I'll do is, it's very far away. Here we go. I've got these 2. So for the most basic version of my evening routine, a lot of times I will use this Laneige lip sleeping mask. I sometimes use it in the daytime, but a lot of times I'll put it on at night. And then I have this gel moisturizer that I actually made. It's very simple. It's jojoba oil and aloe, and I just mix them together, which is why it's in a little Tupperware. I cannot for the life of me remember where I found this. If I can find the link, I will link it down below. Oh gosh, I've got oil cleanser on my hands now. Awesome. But this is one that I found a recipe for and I made up, and I like it because it's really light. So a lot of times I use this in the evening as I have oil everywhere. If I do a more in-depth skincare routine, sorry guys, oil everywhere. So if I do a more in-depth skincare routine, I'll do my first 2 cleansing steps. Then what I will often do is I have this Taco Pore Peel Off Pack. So this is basically like a pore strip, but it's a liquid. It's a gel kind of thing. So you put it on, you let it dry, and you peel it off. So I'll do that some maybe once or twice a week, depending on how things are going. I've also got pore bubble packs. These are both pore bubble packs that I will sometimes do. I've got so much stuff in here, it's kind of chaotic. Oh, get in. I will also sometimes do this, which is, so this would be the serum. So after I do my cleansing and my toner and essence, then I sometimes will do this. This is a Night Repair Probiotic Ampule from Misha. So I sometimes do a serum. And sometimes, and this is where I need to get better about doing it, sometimes I will also do a sheet mask. So oh my goodness, this is my other bin, and these are, do you see this? These are all sheet masks that I brought back with me from Korea. I actually still have a couple. These, I actually got a pack of 15 sheet masks, and I've got 4 left. And these are ones that I got here, but all of the rest of them are ones that I picked up in Korea. So typically I will do a sheet mask if I'm going to do it as part of my evening skincare routine. And so I would do that. So I do all of my toner and essence, the sheet mask, and then I would do a cream at the end. So that is definitely kind of a variable situation. And then if I don't use this night cream, then I have a couple of yes. So I have some night masks. So this is one that I get here in France. This is a goat's milk probiotic night mask. I love this thing. If I start having any sort of breakouts, this really calms them down. And then the other one I have is this pumpkin sleeping pack from Too Cool for School. And this is just an enzyme nutrition sort of dealio. So I will sometimes use these maybe once a week for each of them as a night mask before after I do all of my other steps before I go to bed. So that is skincare. Oh my gosh, there we go. So that is skincare. And as I mentioned, I try as much as possible to do my skincare as soon as I come home from work if I know I'm not going to be leaving again, because that means that if for some reason on a night that I accidentally go a little bit past my 8:30 marker, I definitely do my skincare. I mean, one of the good things is I don't go to bed with makeup on. So no matter what, I'm gonna do it. I will do more steps if I do it earlier in the day because I know I have more time, if that makes sense. So if I've already done my skincare, great, we're good to go. If not, I will do my skincare, and then the next thing I do is I'll floss and brush my teeth, and then I get into bed. So typically what I do, and I should have brought this out, let me go get it, be right back. Okay, we're back. So once I've done that, Then I get into bed. So ideally I like to get into bed around 9:15 and read for a little bit before I fall asleep. So what I do is typically before bed is when I'm going to do reading in foreign languages, specifically Spanish and French, because those are the two that are the easiest. I've tried doing a little bit of reading before bed in Italian, but I honestly sometimes need to look up words, and that's not what I want to do when I'm in bed because my phone is across the room. I don't want to be looking at my phone. Like, I just want to have something that kind of calms me down or whatever. So I've kind of come to the realization that it's easier for me to read in French or in Spanish before I go to bed. So currently I am reading this book. So this is a French book. It is the bookstore at the Grass Square or something like that. And this is just one that I found at my local bookstore. So I have a couple of books here. They're right over here that I pick up over, over time. This was one that I actually got 3. So we have these things at Fnac where basically you buy 2 and you get 1 free. So they have a selection of, like, if you buy 2 of these books, then we have this smaller selection of books that you can buy for free. So I found these that I liked, and I try to avoid buying books in general. So for example, anything that I'm going to read in English that's just like a fiction book, I'll get from the library. But I've noticed that with reading in foreign languages, I don't always have the time to read it during the time frame of a library loan. I also react, my allergies are really bad with older books. So if they're too old and dusty, then that's not good for my allergies. And so I've just kind of gotten into the habit where I'll buy books. I don't go through them super fast because I only read for 15 to 20 minutes before I go to bed, but I will buy books. So French books I tend to buy in the store. Books in Spanish I will buy on Amazon a lot of times because it's really hard for me to find books that I actually want to read, or like just books in general to read in Spanish. So those I will buy on Amazon because it's fairly cheap and I have a better selection. So I just kind of keep a little stockpile of books, and because my reading goal is 5 books in French and I think it's 2 in Spanish this year, I typically have more French books on hand than I have anything else. So the one I've just started is this one, but I've got a little backlog over here. I've got like 5 books. Yeah, so I've got 5 books in the wings in French. I've got 1 more in the wings in Spanish, which that I'm gonna actually have to start soon. And I've got 2 in Italian plus the one that I'm currently reading, so you can kind of see how that goes. And depending on the book, whenever I finish reading them, a lot of times I'll pass them off. Either we have like the free library boxes around town, so sometimes I'll drop them in there, but usually I'll ask at work first to see if anybody actually wants to read them. And hold on, we need to deal with lighting. 1 sec. Okay, that's a little better. The sun's coming up, so it was kind of messing with everything and kind of washing me out. So hopefully that's a little bit better. But yeah, so I will typically not hold on to books in foreign languages unless it falls into one of the categories of books that I actually save. So that is going to be certain Miss Marple books. In certain languages, it's going to be The Little Prince and Harry Potter. Those are going to be the ones I hang on to. But any of these types, for example, that I read in French, once I've read them, I typically am not going to reread them, so I pass them off to somebody else. And it's one of those things that, no, I don't get the money back for them, but I tend to get stuff when I can do like the buy 2 get 1 free, or if I can get them for a little cheaper, and then I figure it's better off that they're out in the world and other people can pass them around and read them, and that's fine. So yeah, so that I do read before bed. And then the last thing I do is I do use a sleep mask. So I actually have 2 and they're both black silk. And basically I just have that where I'll wear it, and whenever I am washing the other one, I have a backup one that I can use. So that's why I have 2 of them. And so I do use these because I have found over the years that I just sleep better if everything is pitch black. And even though I have curtains in my room, and even though in the winter I wake up before the sun comes up, in the summer that's not always the case. Sometimes I go to bed before the sun is fully down, and sometimes I wake up after the sun has come up. So I just find that this helps me sleep a little bit better. So yeah, I think that is my evening routine. So if you want the TLDR version, basically at 8:30 I do my dishes, I do my skincare, I do any bathroom chores, so flossing and brushing my teeth. I fill out my sun lines a day, turn out all of my lights, I close doors if necessary, and then I get into bed and I read for a little bit in a foreign language typically and go to bed. So yeah, that's pretty simple. So I will try and link as much as I can down below for you guys, but that is basically it. So if you have any comments or questions, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!